Good morning. Thank you for joining us for our webinar series. And today's webinar is Leveraging Business Automation to Grow Your Business. It's Thursday, April 14th, 2022, and we're so happy to have you here today. For those of you just joining us for the first time, my name is Nick Fry. I'm the Manager of Business Development with Tourism Nova Scotia. Tourism Nova Scotia is a division of Communities, Culture, Tourism, and Heritage. Tourism Nova Scotia works with communities and industry to attract visitors to the province and increase tourism revenues through experience and sector development, business coaching, marketing, and visitor servicing. We lead marketing and development initiatives to benefit all regions of our province. And today we are putting this webinar on in partnership with Digital Nova Scotia, the industry association representing the tech industry sector for Nova Scotia. With over 200 members, this member-driven organization has anywhere from small businesses, medium, large. We have universities and public sector as well. So happy to be able to bring this to you today, and really excited to have the webinar available for you. So just a little bit of housekeeping. These webinars are so successful when people ask questions. So if you have any questions throughout, please pop it in the Q&A at the bottom, and we would love to be able to help you out. If you have a question tomorrow and you think about it after the fact, just send us an email. We'll make sure we get you the answer. If we mention anything today, whether it be software, any different types of apps you should check out, we'll share that after the fact, so you don't need to write it down. Any links and resources, including the recording of this webinar, will be shared with you tomorrow. And if you have any questions throughout, just pop it in the question and answer. Like I mentioned earlier, we're offering this in partnership with Digiport. So if you are not signed up to Digiport yet, I would encourage you to go do that. Digiport's a one-stop shop of interactive services that will offer you the ability to learn any type of digital area that you need to increase your expertise on. You could sign up for a one-on-one with a digital service provider. You could apply to any one of our programs, read about a specific topic, or sign up for our webinar. So you can sign up for Digiport at the link on the screen, and we'll share it out in the chat as well. And would just encourage you to do that, because if we can all bridge our digital capacity, it will definitely help us compete as well as we can in tourism. So I would like to introduce Shaun Whynacht with Blue Cow Marketing. Shaun is the CEO and founder of Blue Cow, and Shaun had the entrepreneurial bug at a young age, and he knows firsthand how much love and determination gets poured into running a business. What's really neat about Shaun's approach is that while he's coaching and teaching businesses these things, he's actually doing them himself. So he's real-time testing, he's practicing what he preaches. Shaun has spent more than a decade all over Canada learning these business tactics from a wide variety of industries. During that time, Shaun's developed a passion for marketing, but honed some unique abilities to stay current, adopt new skills and technologies in this ever-progressive world. And he's here to share some of that knowledge with us today. So thank you, Shaun. Really excited to have you, and I welcome you to take over my screen.
Thank you, Nick. It's great to be here. So let me take over your screen here. All right. So thank you, everyone, for attending this webinar. I'm very excited to be putting this together and presenting it with you here today. You know, one of the things that I'm very passionate about in business and in marketing is the ability to give people back time. You know, a lot of business is focused around either making money or saving time. And while we try to do both, people seem to really love the ability to save time and not do redundant tasks over and over again. How did I first get into seeing the powers of automation in business? Well, when I first moved back to the Valley, I lived out west for a couple of years. I started to build out my marketing company, and I was looking online for ways to streamline my process. And I came across a company at the time called Infusionsoft, and they were talking about, you know, setting up automation. So I signed up with them, and I started to work with a coach, and he basically said to me, you know, come up with something that you can deliver value to an end user, and let's automate it. So at that time, Facebook was really in its infancy, especially here in the Valley, of people starting to use it in business. So I created 10 different training videos on how to use Facebook on a personal level, because a lot of my clients didn't even have a Facebook account. And we built an automated sequence where they would go to the website and they would opt in, and every day for 10 days, they would get an email with a video from me. At the end of the 10 days, I asked a simple question. How did you enjoy this training? And could you, actually 2 questions, and could you see this being used in your business? I had about a 70% return rate on those emails where people wanted to talk to me about how to use it in their business. And that was the first time I was like, wow, like this was happening as I was sleeping. I didn't have to like send out emails and videos on my own. So from there, I went and got certified with this company in delivering marketing automation. And then over the years, I've worked with companies like ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, and many different technologies. A little bit about my I guess, need for learning is, if there is a tool that comes out, I need to learn about it. I need to go try it out. And everything that I'm going to talk to you about today, I've utilized in my business myself, and then also has helped other clients do that. So throughout this presentation, I don't go into presentation mode, so you will see the little slides on the side. I like that because I can actually reference some of the stuff that's there. So we're going to be talking about using automation, and I like to call it business automation, not just marketing automation, because there's a lot of things that you can automate that aren't really marketing. It's more internal processes as well. But in order to understand why you would want to put automation in place, I want to cover a little bit about why is it important for your customers or your clients to have you have automation in place. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is why you. Why do your potential clients or your returning clients, your customers choose you? Is it because of the product or the service, or is it because of the experience, the convenience, the feel that you give them when they conduct business with you, or they come and stay at your property, or they come into your store, or they take your tour, whatever that is? Why you? And if you don't know yet why you, I'm going to challenge you to actually think about that, right? Just because you have a B&B or in accommodations, I guarantee it's not because there's a bed for them to sleep in. It is because it is an experience. It is either how they feel when they're there, it is either how you treat them, or it is a combination of everything. We like to look at this as you are the guide to a better experience. In any type of marketing or in business, your client or your customer is the hero of that story. You are not the hero. And we tend to blur that line a bit when we start to talk in our social media, where we're talking all about us, right? We are putting us as the hero in that story. We're not. We are here to just facilitate an amazing experience for your customer, right? I'm looking through the list of people who have registered for this webinar, and there's a lot of businesses that I have been to, that I've seen, that I've experienced, and I know people who've experienced them, and there's great experiences there, and there's a lot of new ones too that I haven't been to. So think about that and you'll understand this as we move through this. So a story, this is all about how can we paint the picture of the story of what they want, right? Like, let's say I want to go on a vacation in Nova Scotia. Maybe I want to go to Cape Breton, right? Why do I want to go there, right? It's because I want to either see something new, or I want to escape, the stress of being at home, especially now that we've been in a pandemic for so long. It's time to get out. And I'm going to go and I'm going to look online for places to visit. I want to have an experience. So if I choose a business that I'm going to stay at for a weekend, right? I'm probably not, knowing myself, just going to go and choose that because, it looks nice. I'm going to start to look around and see what else is happening in the area. What else can we do? Can make it more of an experience for us. And if that business is to enhance that by giving me more information, making it easy for me to ask questions. You know, there was a lot of times where I would message an accommodations place and say, hey, I'm not familiar with the area. What can we do? And the ones that responded back to me and gave me great ideas, those are the ones that I had a very positive experience with, right? And we're going to talk about how do you automate some of this as well as we go through this. If you've never seen this book here, Donald Miller's Building a Story Brand, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but the idea is around that. It is building a story and positioning your clients as the hero in that. You should check it out. So why do you want automation, right? Why do we want to automate things? Well, I can't see you, but I can guarantee you that if I ask this question, you're going to, you know, raise a hand or even think about raising a hand. How many times in your business have you had to send the same email over and over again? Have you had to answer the same question over and over again? You know what? How many times have there been processes that have happened out of order and you had to back up some steps because of that? Well, automation is the way around that. And we're going to talk about the different steps of that as we go through this. So let's look at the entire journey, the entire life cycle of somebody that would be thinking about your business, right? We call this life cycle marketing, and we break it into really three categories. There's the idea of collecting leads, which is where people start to think about the solution that you offer, right? So let's go back to the same example of I need a vacation, right? I've been working for so long, I want to get away. I'm not ready to go on a plane yet, or I don't want to drive many hours to another province or to a state. I want to stay in my own province, right? So I'm going to go look out there. So I'm going to like start to narrow it down, and I'm going to go online and I'm going to start to look for, you know, areas. So let's say like we're going to use this, you know, Cape Breton. So I might Google, you know, nice places to stay in Cape Breton. So it'll come up, I'll see results, and then I'll start to go to either the social media accounts for these places or their website. Now, as I go there, it's the ones that speak to the meaning of why I want to do that. So if you are an accommodations business and you have a website and you've put together a great resource that says, you know, the top 7 things to see while visiting, you know, this area, right? The area that you're in. And I can put it in my email and you send me a nice PDF of that. That's what I'm looking for, right? I can go and I can book if I choose you, but you're providing added value. Now think about if you had nothing in place for automation and you sent me an email, you'd have to receive that email. You'd have to send me an email back. You'd have to upload that document that you had, or you may not even have that, and then your competitor may get my business, right? So this is the idea of collecting leads with automation. And I'll show you this later on too, as how we actually structure that. So the idea is targeting, attracting, because there's something, you know, emotionally connected to what it is that you offer that's going to make me even click or look into you. But now you are actually agitating my desire by speaking to what it is that I'm really wanting to get from this, and then capturing it, right? Capturing is the idea of either getting them to call you, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be a form that they fill out, but maybe calling or texting. Texting is huge. Everybody's got a phone now. And email, you know what? Email is still very relevant, but we're seeing a huge increase exponentially year over year. I would even say even month over month, by the amount of businesses switching to being able to communicate via text. And if that's something that, you know, you want to stay on the leading edge of communication, integrating something like text messaging communication into your business will definitely, you know, enhance the way that you communicate. So that's on the collection side of it. Then we look at converting leads. So now that we have initially, you know, gained that attention, gained that interest, and they have taken an action to look into what it is that you do, or they come to your website, now we need to nurture them a bit more, right? If they're not ready to book right now, that's where we'll go back to that example of that guide of what to see and what to do in the area. Tourism Nova Scotia does a great job with all their marketing stuff, but you can actually go a step further and make it very unique to your town, your area, and build that enhanced experience. And it's not where you have to always be like sales oriented and be like trying to sell them on booking with you. Because if you provide value and you provide like a better connection to that emotion they're feeling, they're going to think of you versus, somebody down the road who hasn't done that. Okay, so that's where we go through this phase of converting. And then the last one, which we'll talk about a little later on, is the creating fans side. So this here is a graph that I pulled, I would say about 6 months ago when I was doing a presentation. And it looked at, I think they were polling about 10,000 people about like, what is the most important thing in their business or in a business that they get excited about, right? And this means of all the different things that a business could offer, what is most valuable to the end consumer? Majority is customer experience. Then marketing, mobile, personalization, and social media. A lot of people spend a lot of time and effort focusing on their social media, and that's really where they drive a lot of their attention and their resources. Is we need to have our social media posts looking great, and we need to have this and we need to have that, while the customer experience could be a lot better, and they're not focusing on that. So if you have a enhanced customer experience, and it doesn't have to be that you have a suit and tie greeter at your front entrance, and you have red carpet and all that kind of thing. No, it doesn't. Maybe it's you have a promise amongst your team that any inquiry that comes in, you will respond within 2 hours, right? That might be an enhanced customer experience. How many times have you inquired about a business, asked a question, and it's been days since you got a reply? And maybe even you've never gotten a reply because they're not monitoring their website form. They're not monitoring their social media channels. Fair enough. Maybe their resources are low. Maybe it's a solo business and you're just spread too thin. Put automation in place. Automate some of those replies, because if somebody sends you a message and there's no reply, you're immediately going to wonder, did they get it? When am I going to hear back? But if somebody goes to your Facebook page and they send a message and there's an auto reply on the Facebook Messenger that says, hey, Shaun, thank you for inquiring. We check our messages every day at 4:30. That's when we'll reply back. Fine. I go about my day. I know at 4:30, I'm going to get a reply. I'm not going to sit around and wait. I'm not going to go try to find an answer somewhere else. Right? Same thing with your website. They fill out a contact form, put some automation in place, right? Thank them for the inquiry, but while they're waiting for the reply, maybe you got a video that you want to talk to them, about the area or your business. While you wait for a reply from us, here's some more information, right? Now we're providing additional value. Your content marketing, what this means is if you have, videos, if you have blogs, if you have, social media posts, anything that you can put out that is content, not sales, not you putting out like, a special coupon or anything. It's value. The tourism-based businesses, especially in the hospitality side, that actually go beyond the borders of their property and start to showcase and bring in other bits of information from the community and things that are happening on their channels, are going to be the ones that win out, right? Because majority of people want that end goal. They want it to get away, and they don't want to spend a lot of energy doing all that little research. Right? I'm not somebody that wants to book a vacation away and then have to research every destination to find out like what's there, what's this, right? You know what? I want to talk to somebody who's there and be like, okay, Sally, you've lived here your whole life. what's the best place to go if we want to have a good night, a good dinner, right? Sally's going to tell me. She knows, right? She's making those recommendations. You are the expert guide in the lives of your potential customers. So let's showcase this. Next to that is mobile. And the reason for that is because people are on their phones, right? Especially if they're traveling. I mean, if you've got people coming here, they're probably not carrying a laptop around in their vehicles, right? They may be traveling around, they're looking on their phone. And even at home, if I'm sitting on the couch and I'm thinking of, hey, we should go away this weekend or next week, yeah, where should we go? We're going to pull out the phone and we're going to look there. I'm not going to get up, go to my desk, turn on the computer and do that research. So making sure that your mobile experience is your top priority on your website. Does all the do all the pages load properly? Is it easy to navigate? Can they get all the information they need from that? Can they book online? If you are a restaurant, can people see your menu online, right? Are you mobile responsive? Personalization. This one to me, especially if I'm a repeat client, is huge. I am not going to sit here and say, you need to remember every single client year over year that's been in your business. There are tools, there are CRM tools that you can utilize that you can actually put bits of information in there that is going to give you that intel when they book again or when they come again to that business. The experience I've had with this was I went to, and I can't remember the place, it was years ago. I was traveling. It wasn't in Nova Scotia. I was traveling across Canada because I lived out west. And I used this hotel a couple times because I was traveling for business. And when I went in there, the lady that was checking me in was talking to me. And she was, asking, where I was coming from and all this kind of stuff. And we got talking about my dog, right? His name was Sam. And, she's like, oh, I love dogs and whatever. So we were talking about that. Anyway, I didn't think anything of it. Well, about 3 months later, I came back and stayed at the hotel again. And I was checking in and there was a guy working there. It wasn't the same lady. And as he was checking in, he's like, oh, how's Sam doing? And I was blown away. I was like, how did he know that? Well, I asked about that because that's the line of business that I'm in. And they said, well, whenever we find out little bits of information about that, we actually put it on the record in the system so that we can actually ask about it, right? So just little things of that personalization are huge, right? And that resonated with me. Knowing because I asked that question, I know how they did it. But the fact that they asked made it easy for me to talk about it with him. And then we just got on that line of conversation that way. So I want you not to look at customer experience as solely just customer service, because the customer experience starts far beyond when you actually get to talk to the customer. It starts the moment they hit your website. It starts the moment they do a Google search where you may come up in it. Because if there's a question they are asking or a need that they need fulfilled at that time and you can provide it, you are enhancing that experience for them. And you're driving them closer and closer to what it is that they want. And they're most likely going to choose you. And then also after the experience with you and then after, okay? So perceived value. Now, if I ask each and every one of you watching this webinar today, what is the highest valuable experience you can have when on a vacation? I guarantee it's going to be different things, right? You each have a perceived value of what is important to you. So the idea of leveraging that and figuring that out is going to be a bit of a process, right? It's not going to be impossible, but it's an exercise as a business owner that you need to understand. For me, in the marketing field, I've struggled with this for many years. And when I finally went through training to talk about this, they said, ask your clients. Wow, what a breakthrough. actually ask the people that are working with you, what do you like most about working with me? And for me, the answer was, no matter what problem we have, whether it was marketing or not, if we asked you, you would give us an answer if you knew it. And if you didn't, you would find a way to figure it out. Okay, so that was a perceived value that I had with that. So let's look at this here, right? This graphic represents using technology, providing additional value, and kind of doing things differently than they normally were, right? You stay at an accommodation, you have to check out, right? What's the normal way that you would have done that? You would have taken your room key or your card to the front desk and stood in line with everyone else, right? And dropped it in the bin or whatever and checked out. And then, I guess more recently, you're getting your electronic invoices, right? You're not actually getting paper copies, but that was the typical thing, right? We're using technology different now. If you have the ability to receive text messages, and it doesn't mean that you're receiving them just to a cell phone. There are tools, and I'll tell you them near the end of this, where it can be on a browser, where just like a chat, people text the number, it comes in there, you can reply back to them. So in this, they're checking out, corresponding, great, perfect. Now, if they can leave, if there's a box at the front, they just drop the key in or whatever, great, no problem. All digital communication. People leave at different times. They don't want to wait in line, especially with, COVID and all that stuff going on. This is a way to use that. Menus in restaurants, right? A lot of times when I'm going to eat somewhere, I want to see what they serve before I even get there, right? There's a lot of planning that goes into going out, especially as you've got younger generations coming up, using technology, even at the table, looking at the menu, right? So if you offer food, put your menu online, right? It's going to cut down the costs and things. I mean, if you want to change an item, instant, right? Remove it, put a new one in, make an update, take a new photo, whatever. You can update that all. You don't have to print new things, new menus and everything along the lines. So I found this graphic here when I was doing the presentation, planning for this. And it says, you can read it here, but it's, are you stalking our customers on Facebook? No, I'm learning about our customers. We can customize her experience. Okay. So this is key. If you have people on your team that are frontline in working with customers, empower them to take the learnings that they are learning through conversations with them, especially if they're doing check-ins, or, if you got, I see the Trot and Time carriage tours in Lunenburg, they have people that are one-to-one with customers, for an extended period of time. They're getting to know them. That information transfer is going to be key to move it back through the channels to come across in the marketing to help grow that business. Empower your team to support your process, right? And they can utilize technology too, right? If you've got texting in place, let's say, give that number to every one of your team members, and as they learn that stuff, boom, you can send you a text message, right? Or if you got a CRM, you can put that in place. So as we go back through this and we look at collecting those leads and converting those leads and then creating those fans, the automated processes are about staying top of mind, right? How many times have you booked something somewhere or visited a business or did a tour or whatever and never heard a thing from them again, right? What a huge missed opportunity, right? Especially when you are needing to get reviews, especially when they've had an amazing experience. You are spending so much money trying to build your business through advertising, through marketing, through organic, that your best salespeople are the people you just delivered an amazing experience for. And I guarantee your customers, especially if they're on a vacation, are not immediately thinking, oh, I got to go tell everyone about this. In the moment, they're thinking that, but they're not going to do it in the moment, right? The time to capture that is when they are back and they're planning again, or they know people that are planning for the next year or the next season, or they're visiting. to spark that in their mind. Hey, I love that you joined us for a family tour. I'd love it if you went and gave us a review on Google, right? How easy would that be, right? Automate that. Couple clicks. It doesn't even have to be a couple clicks. We can automate the entire process from the date of when they booked, right? And say, okay, 7 days after that, let's send that request for them to leave that Google review, right? Automation. Set it, forget it, and then you get that time back and the things will just happen. So, do you have a clear customer experience vision? What I mean by that is, can you clearly see the ideal, and I challenge all my clients to do this, is eliminate all preconceived notions of limitations of technology, time, money at this point. If you were to architect the best experience for your business from the customer's viewpoint, not from your viewpoint, but for the customer's eyes from the moment they first hear about you to the moment they've experienced you, right through to after, what would that be? And write it out, right? And then from there, look at each one of those things and say, what can we put in place? Can we manually do it? Can we automate it? And if you don't know the answer, that's okay. That's a process I do in an initial consult anyway. But there are things I guarantee that you could implement or change in the way that you do your business right now that would enhance that customer experience. And then try to figure out what it is that matters most to your customer, not you. You're in the business. You're too close to the fire. You're feeling that heat. The customer has different needs. So what matters most to them? And you could even say that for a man, it could be different than a woman, right? So maybe you've got, a destination type of business and, the men like doing different things than the women do at the business, right? So you need to look at that as well. And then can you create that emotional connection to your customers, right? Can they feel heard and understood? You do that through the messaging that is on your website. You do that through what you can provide them and what you can continue to provide them over and over again. Can you get customer feedback in real time, right? Again, I'm going to come back to the ability to receive text messages, right? When somebody books something with you, if something is happening, let's say they have a tour booked with your organization, set for 10 o'clock, and they're running a few minutes late, do they know how to contact you? If initially right out of the gate, you said, hey, we have a number that you can text and we will reply like immediately. Let us know if you're running late. We'll accommodate that. Or let us know if you've had a bad experience and we'll talk through that or whatever it is. You can use that in any one of your businesses. Breaking down the barriers of communication, right? Can you get that customer feedback in real time? And your customers are online, right? People make decisions online without ever talking to you. The importance of having those social proof elements are huge, right? The ability to get those reviews, massive. To answer all the questions, FAQs, frequently asked questions, right? What are all the questions that your customers have asked? Document them, put them on the website. That'll save you from having to answer them over and over again, right? Versus somebody, sending you a message saying, hey, do you offer free parking, right? If that was the question you get asked over and over again, you have to keep answering it, put it on the website. So again, let's talk about the last stage here of creating fans. So social proof. Now, in preparation for this, I know I talked about time. I went online and I just Googled, this is what you need to do for your business. If you don't know what people are saying about it, you need to go online, put in your business name and put in reviews, see what comes up, right? You've got Google My Business. If you have not claimed that already for your business, it's free, right? Just look for Google My Business online. You can claim your account. It allows you to reply to those reviews that are happening, right? You're never going to have 5 out of 5, 100%. It just doesn't happen, right? We're dealing with people. Some of them have perceived experiences It's okay. A negative review is not the end of the world. How you actually respond to it will determine its validity to your business, right? If there's somebody that's irate over something that is legit, you need to reply and you need to handle that. Try to take it offline, solve it, thank them online publicly. People know you will stand behind what you do. So I looked this up online, and you see down here on this side, this was what came up. This was on TripAdvisor, right? So they are number 5 out of 13. According to TripAdvisor, 104 reviews, looks like about 4.5. Great, okay, I can look at that, right? This is from their Google page that was there, 4.3 out of 5, 29 votes. It lists out some of the reviews that are there. This, to me, if I was looking up this business for something to do when I was visiting Lunenburg, I would seriously consider this, right? Based off of this. This is what people are looking at first. This is determining if they're going to go a step further with you. Now, how do you collect these reviews? Well, we're talking about automation. Now, this is from my account. This one here is a company called Nice Job. They're based in Ontario. And if they'll work with other systems as well. It doesn't have to be integrated with like a payment system, but mine is integrated with my QuickBooks. And how this works is I can go in there and I can click an invite to any of my clients when their invoice is paid or when it's created. And it will actually set an automated sequence. It'll text them first and say, hey, put in their first name. Would love for you to give me a Google review, right? Or a review, I guess I think is what it says. Gives them the option of Google or Facebook. And then if they don't give a review after like 3 days, it follows up again. And then after 5 days, it sends them an email. So I've got a 3-step approach that's there. 1 click on my part, 3 touch points to get that review. I know how important that is. This screenshot here is from my CRM. I use Keep, K-E-A-P. There'll be links at the end for you to check it out. But this allows me to go into any contact record. 1 click says collect reviews. It pops up pre-written email that I wrote once with a link for them to click and leave me a review. All I have to do is bring up their contact, click, send, boom, done. Makes it extremely easy, right? Automation. So what to automate? I know you've been thinking this. We're talking about a lot of this marketing stuff. Why is it important? What do we want to automate? Well, automatically respond to your website inquiries, right? You're driving people to your website. They're checking it out. There needs to be a way for people to communicate with you. Whether it's a web form or maybe a chat bot that pops up, automate those responses, right? Chatbots are becoming more and more prevalent in marketing, where it's becoming smarter by the questions that people are asking, that it can answer a lot of that stuff automatically. And then once it doesn't know that, it can hand it over to you so you can respond, right? But even people filling out a web form, putting in automatic emails back, a nurture until you can respond, right? Huge. Phone follow-up. Somebody gives you a call, right? They call your business, you answer some things on the phone, have an email go out to them, right? Or even a text message go out to them, right? They called you from a phone number. I guarantee most of those numbers are going to be mobile numbers, right? Very few people have home phones, unless you're older, but most people are calling from a cell phone, right? Having phone follow-ups in place. Thanks for reaching out. And maybe you just template a bunch of the stuff, right? I'm going to show you in my demonstration here how you can have templated emails so you don't have to write stuff over and over again. New connection follow-up. You're out networking, right? You're in business, you're in the community, you're meeting people. And they say, hey, you know what, give me your card, or whatever. People have cards, or you get an email. How about being able to pull out your CRM app in your phone, put their information in, or even better, the apps that we use, you can scan the card, it puts it all in, and then you click a tag that says send follow-up, and it sends them an email sequence of hey, it was great meeting you. Here's some more information about our business, and then whatever that nurture looks like, right? We can get into the details at another time about what that would look like. But again, automation to grow your business. You don't have to forget things. Free content follow-up. The example of that free guide of things to do, right, in your area is going to be huge, right? Have that nurture. There needs to be stuff dripping out. Hottest lead follow-ups. The automation is in place where, let's say somebody comes to your website and you know what, they are checking things out. Maybe they opt in or they fill out a contact form and then they don't come back, right? And then 6 months later, they come back to your website. If the tracking's in place, it can actually fire out another email based on when they hit that website again and follow up with them again. Automatically, automation to follow up with people and nurture them. Staying engaged with those who are not ready, right? We know not everybody that comes into our ecosystem is ready to buy or book or you know, schedule something with you, but we need to stay in touch with them, right? We call this a high value nurture. All of our clients, all of our clients, we implement something called a high value nurture, which means that when they are initially in the phase of communicating with you, they're not in that, but when that dies off, they go into this, and every you know, in most cases, it's almost every 2 weeks, they're receiving something of value coming by email to them, right? Once they raise their hand and say, hey, I'm going to book or I'm going to schedule something, then they're pulled out of that, right? Follow up for repeat sales. This is the biggest opportunity for any business. If a business could implement follow up with existing clients to get them back or to get referrals, it would pay for itself exponentially, in my opinion. This is the number one thing that anytime I work with somebody that we implement first, because it is much cheaper to sell to somebody again than it is to find somebody new to buy from you. So I'm challenging you, what do you have in place to stay in touch with those repeat seasonal customers to come back, find out what's new, book again, make referrals, that kind of thing. And then welcome automation, right? When you book with a business, what are you getting from them after that? Hey, we're excited to see you while you're here. Here's our top 5 list of the best places to eat when visiting here. Here are the top 10 things to do with your kids over, a week here, right? Those type of things, right? And you can segment that list based off of those different, demographics. If it's 2 adults, you're not going to talk about kids, but if there's a family and there's kids, you can split that out. So there's a free ebook that I have in the resource at the end. It's 25 things every business should automate. There'll be a link to that at the website that you'll see at the end of it. So these were some of the questions that came up that were submitted to me, and we're going to go look at some sites here. I know we're getting near the end of time, but these are some of the questions that were submitted. So automate reservation payment system was a question somebody had submitted. Now, I am not an expert in the reservation payment system, but I'll tell you what I did, right? I went on Google and I said, best reservation payment system online, right? I don't know what the exact thing is, but always put best and there will be results that come up. Here's the thing you need to look for in any type of tool or technology. First of all, the reputation, right? So going on here, like looking at this one here, this Logify, I look and see, are there any brands that they're connected with? Okay, can they piggyback off that reputation? Great. Do they offer a free trial? Can I try it out? Yes, they do. Perfect. Try that free trial. Try out the tool, play with it, see what it's like. Check out the pricing. Is it affordable to you, right? If you were to move forward, does the packaging make sense for you? And then looking at the very bottom, is there ways to communicate with them? Support, yes, you can chat with them. This one, I never heard about them because I've never done the search before, but in my opinion, this is a pretty good system, right? Just from what's online. Without trying it or looking at reviews, that's what I would go with for that one. Now let me go back and find there it is. What functions can be automated? I will challenge the fact that I could find a way to automate almost anything, right? I have clients who we have automated the sending of brownies to at some point in their process, right? Most likely it was once they become a client, they wanted brownies to go out to them. There are companies and systems that will send out gifts, that will do anything, right? I've got clients that automated, probably not let the secret out, but automated, the reminder of all of his family members' birthdays and anniversaries in his automation system because his brain just didn't do that, right? You can automate almost anything. Are there any free or low cost automations? Yes, free Not so much, but low cost. They don't have to be super expensive, right? There are sites like ActiveCampaign, even MailChimp has some automation in place that you could use in there. A lot of these email tools are based on capacity. So the amount of emails that you have in your system will determine the rate that you pay in there. Email automation, Keep and ActiveCampaign. Let me show you the Keep because that's what I use. So Keep is a CRM, marketing automation system, text messaging all in one. This is my active account. I just brought up my contact record. So when I'm in here, I can actually go and click text and type in any text message and it will send to my phone, right? The text comes back, it comes through a number that's been associated with me. It's all by chat, right? People could call that number, it will ring through to my phone. Maybe I want to have templates. So maybe I meet somebody and I want to do a text introduction. Pre-write this, save it in there. I can just type it in here. Here are my contact details. Okay, let's put my contact info, hit send, and then it will send out. Okay. Email, right? If I want to send an email, I can write from in here. I can load templates, right? So project kickoff, put in the booking links, put my signature, hit send. Perfect. Want to put in a review link? I simply go in here. There's my review link, right? This is the ability to do things like that. Automation. We've got easy and advanced automation. I know we're short on time. I'm not going to get into like the nuts and bolts of this, but in the advanced automation, pretty much those that free ebook, it says 10 here, but I've upgraded it to 25. But how this works is if you go to the website that I'm going to show you at the end and you fill out the form, it's going to start you in here. It's then going to deliver that email. It's going to wait 4 hours. It's going to remind you if you haven't clicked on it that there's an email with the download in it. Once you click on it, then it's going to send you an email that says, hey, if you want to talk about automating in your business, let's have a chat and give you a link, right? Go through. If you don't take me up on that, there's another email that says, okay, maybe you're not ready. And then from there, it's going to drop you into my high value nurture campaign, which is, like I said, an email every 2 weeks for an entire year that gives you podcast episodes, free resources. It's all about you. It is not about me. The very bottom of the signature of every email, there's a link to book when the time is right. But I am focused on giving value, right? This automation is extremely accessible to everyone. What platforms work best? Oh, let me skip on here. If you could have a single app to help with automation, what would it be? I am privy to Keep because I've been 10 years certified partner with them. I love their solution for small business and what it can do from text messaging, emailing, the marketing automation, all that stuff all in one. Doesn't mean that there aren't other ones out there. That is the one I'm most versed in. So that's why I'm, very, not biased, but very comfortable with making that recommendation. And what platforms work best? You can, just like, what's your favorite vehicle or what's your favorite sports team? No matter who you ask, they're all going to say, no, I prefer this one, right? It's what works best for you. You need to figure out what you need and then find a solution that's going to work best for you. And then the CMS for vacation rentals. Again, I don't know. I'm not in the vacation rental side or making the recommendation for that. What I would suggest is going on Google and say best CMS for vacation rentals, see what comes up and go through that process like I did for the Lodgify, is looking at pricing, recommendations, reputation. Can you get a free demo? Can you see that? Who have they worked with? Those type of things. I'm not sure where to start. I'm curious to know what we can automate. I know we covered a lot of that in there. The best recommendation I can make is if you want to talk through it, book a consult with the link that I'll give you at the last slide. And we can just talk through your business and see what it is that you're struggling with and then what can be automated. But what I'm going to suggest you do prior to anything like that is list out your ideal flow of a customer going through. And then also, what are the things that are keeping you up at night in your business? What are you struggling with? Are you forgetting to submit your payroll to CRA, right? Create an automated process where every month on the 10th or whatever before that 15th deadline, you will get a task to do it, whatever that case is, right? Automate all that kind of stuff. What are your favorite tools for automatic email transactions? I don't know exactly what the context of that was, other than I know that you can set your email to auto deposit. But as for that, I don't know. You can also schedule auto email transfers with your bank. And the last one here in the submitted questions, and there might be some that come through today, but interested in improving social media. I have used a lot of tools over the years for social media, from Hootsuite to many different ones. But the one that we're using most recently and that I love is one called Social Pilot. And I have it here. So many things in the way here. Let me move the Zoom stuff out of the way. Let me pull that down. There we go. Okay, so Social Pilot, as with any scheduling tool, it allows you to create posts and schedule posts. This looks like a lot going on. This is our social account for Blue Cow, which includes our LinkedIn, our Twitter, our Facebook, our Instagram, all that kind of stuff. I have not created every one of these posts, okay? These are pulling in what are called content feeds. So we have some client stuff in here too, but we have our YouTube channel, because I create YouTube content that is pulling in on a feed. Our blog is pulling in on a feed. Some other like industry kind of social accounts and blogs we're pulling in. And then what we do is we go through and we can actually look at them, and I can post out to the different channels here. But once this would load, it's queuing up and it's looking for all the different feed content. And of course, there we go. So I can go through here and be like, okay, what does it take to be head of marketing? Perfect. Let's schedule that to the queue. Now, one click and now it's scheduled to go out, right? Here's a video I did. It's pulling from my YouTube channel, add to queue, and it's going to go out. I could also set the exact date or repeat the post or schedule it for a different date. So this is using automation to have that content going out, staying top of mind with everyone that's there. So all right, let's get to the very end here, and then we can get into the Q&A. There it is. So I put together a page here, and it is this page. It's ShaunWhynacht.com, my personal blog /tourism. When you go there, it's going to look like this. Thank you for attending the webinar. All the resources that I mentioned in here, briefly, some of the things: Keep, 14-day trial, 8-minute demo, Canva, Creator U. This is a huge library that they're selling training, digital marketing training. Love it. Thrive Themes is what we use to build our website. Nice Jobs was that review platform, and Social Pilot. There's where you can get the 25 things you should automate. Want to book a consult? It's right there. There's our podcast, and there's some of our reviews of people that we've worked with down below. So that is my presentation. Let's open it up, Nick, for any questions that may have come in.
Perfect. So now would be the time. We would encourage you to ask any questions. I think that the presentation was excellent, so I bet you there won't be too many because you covered so many excellent topics. I would say if you got any questions, or you think one of these things may work for you, Shaun is available under Digiport as a one-on-one Ask an Expert, so you can book a time with him to answer any questions. The process would be to sign up for Digiport. So let's just keep that in mind, but also encourage anyone to ask any questions. I don't see any in the chat. And to be completely honest with you, it was such a thorough, well done job that I don't have any questions. There's a lot of ideas that these businesses can put into place. I believe I was saying to you earlier, I love automation. If I have to stand in a line for anything and I can't use an app to order ahead or do anything like that, it kills me. So anybody on the line have any questions? Somebody said, I had no idea what to expect. This was awesome.
Thank you, Terry.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And if you see something on here that, or you remember tomorrow, you want to come back, this will be available to you. So I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions after the fact, like I said, send them our way, and we'll send them Shaun's way. And I'll take it from there. So I'm just going to take the screen back over, Shaun. I think that your was excellent, and I'm just so happy that you were able to do that. So I'm going to share my screen again.